Unlike its European neighbours, Sweden did not go into lockdown. Businesses and schools have remained open, and people have been told to practice social distancing. The COVID-19 mortality rate is 38 per 100,000 population. That's one of the highest in the world, but it's lower than in some countries which have imposed lockdowns. The Swedish government has defended its policy, saying it's managed to slow down infections.
Other countries will go that direction because they have to. It's not sustainable to close down economies, societies in the way that many countries have done. We have a higher level of immunity in the population compared to Denmark, Finland, and other countries, which means that when a second wave or a third wave from this virus hits the countries or the economies, Sweden will be better protected.
It's very difficult to say whether these countries are correct in the approach that they have taken to control or to contain COVID-19, particularly as experts, public health experts from Sweden has actually been very vocally defensive of the approach that they take, with the view that every country at the end of the entire COVID-19 pandemic, every country will emerge with very similar outcomes.
Those who have recovered from the illness develop antibodies, and when enough people are infected and then recover, herd immunity is reached. This means the virus won't spread because the chain of person-to-person infection slows down or stops. For this to happen, about 70% of the population needs to have the antibodies. But in the Swedish capital, Stockholm, only 7.3% had developed antibodies at the end of April. That's only a little higher than the 5% in Spain, which had a strict lockdown.
If the immunity that one gets from infection, it's only short-term, say for 3 to 6 months, this is where the concept of herd immunity breaks down very rapidly. So this entire concept of herd immunity that is based on getting people to be infected and recovering from the infection really relies on the assumption that someone who has been infected before will not be reinfected again. Currently, we do not know for sure how long that immunity lasts for.
Experts say lockdowns help take the pressure off countries' health systems, but lockdowns come with a price. Under a 3-month containment scenario, the Asian Development Bank says that the global economic impact of COVID-19 could hit $5.8 trillion. That counts the trade costs, supply chain impact, and the fiscal stimulus response by governments. In a 6-month lockdown scenario, the impact will be $8.8 trillion.
It will take 3 or 4 years, I think, to assess total costs of the various strategies that different countries have chosen. I believe that the Swedish strategy, keeping the economy, the society semi-open at least, in the long run will be one of the best strategies at least.
But the World Health Organization disagrees. It's called herd immunity, a dangerous calculation. With much still unknown about this illness, policymakers around the world face difficult choices. The economic costs, which are already being quantified in the trillions of dollars, and the long-term human costs of the outbreak.
Costs can't be avoided. We cannot win over the virus. When a vaccine comes, whenever it comes, we have a better chance. But no vaccine is perfect either, so we have to manage this pandemic somehow,
Global interdependence means that as countries open up according to their timelines, business disruptions could be the new normal.
We're going to see the pace of recovery really be uneven depending on jurisdictions. We probably will see cycles of opening and then additional restrictions depending on how the cases go, location by location. And we may see also geopolitical and strategic challenges. I mean, as certain countries have the economic situation really start to bite, we may see some concern there of, a heightened political risk.
Compliance with evolving rules and regulations will be among many challenges.
It's not easy if you're a global multinational and you're trying to manage operations across different countries, or in some cases, many different jurisdictions or states or territories, let's say in the case of Australia, across, one country. It's not easy. And also, the employee perception risk factor is there.
As work further moves online, there will be room for new business models to thrive. Intellect, an app that offers self-guided mental health therapy, appears to have launched at the right time.
One big aspect that now is getting more talked about is that the mental and emotional well-being of people are really drastically affected. We see a huge spike in demand from companies and individuals, which I think we wouldn't have seen if it launched a year ago in this group.
Intellect started in 2019 and has been developing cognitive behavioral therapy in its app with help from psychologists and researchers.
We're not here to replace face-to-face therapy altogether. We are here to really address the huge gap in the market that people who need some form of help don't actually get to access it. It's very expensive, firstly. So therapy, a single session typically could range from $100 for an hour to up to $250 based on how senior the person is. So cost is a big factor that really limits people from it.
After going online early this year, the Intellect app now has over 10,000 individual users and 10 companies in the process of onboarding. It's just one example of the tech sector benefiting as the pandemic moves lives and livelihoods online. And such forms of business transformation are likely to be a big part of the new normal in a world finally free of COVID-19.